What's going on, everybody? Jockey Nerd here. Today I wanted to do a video on squat rants, and I've been lifting for a really long time. And before I had a job at the gym, I didn't notice anything around me. You literally had to slap me in the face to get to me to pay attention to anything in the gym. But now that I have a job in the gym, I notice a lot more things. And the most common thing I see in the gym is really bad form with squats. I mean, it's mind blowing what these people are doing. And there's three main things that I see people do wrong. At the end of the video, I'm going to go through how to actually do a squat. But there's just these three things just piss me off to no end. And I really want to help people and have them understand why these things are wrong and help them with their form. The very first movement I see people do when they're performing a squat is something I deemed the quarter squat. So a full range of motion squat is from complete extension of the hips and the knees all the way down to your thighs being parallel to the ground. You could even go lower than that, but parallel to a 90-degree angle in your knees is where everybody wants you. So you know that person in the gym that loads, let's see, they want 4 plates on their squat. They want to look cool. They probably want to impress the friends that they're with. They see all the girls working out in the gym and they want to impress them. It's not going to work. It never works. So what they do is they go from there. We have the range of motion from fully extended to 90-degree angle of your knees, but they come halfway between that. And I deem it's quarter squat because I think a squat goes past 90 degrees. So there's 4 different areas. But anyway, what this is going to do to you is it puts a lot of tension on your knees. When you stop abruptly like that, it's going to pull the tendons and ligaments in your knees, and it's going to increase the compressive forces in your knees, and it's completely going to damage your knees. And you want to go full range of motion because it's going to increase the metabolic demand of the exercise. So if you're trying to lose weight, muscle contractions require energy, and the more you lengthen the muscle and the more it needs to contract, the more energy you have to expend. So you're going to burn more calories. Calories are energy. The value of the exercise is maximized by going all the way to 90 degrees. Your flexibility is going to be maintained or even improved, because if you're stopping quarter of the way, that your body's going to adapt to that. It's called Wolff's Law. Your body adapts to the stresses that are placed on it. So your body's going to adapt to just going down to that quarter squat, and you're going to lose flexibility. Not to mention, a complete range of motion is going to keep a stable body position and maintain body alignment and place proper stress on the joints that are involved in the movement. Neural drive is really important to whatever you're doing. Neural drive increases as the agonist muscle, which is the primary mover of the movement, increases in muscle fiber recruitment, the firing rate and the rate of discharge of the myosin and actin, the sarcomeres contracting together. And this is during high intensity exercise, which if you're doing heavy squats, it's considered a high intensity exercise. So my point is, do a full range of motion squat. You're going to get so much more improvement out of it. The next movement I want to talk about that people do really wrong is, we call it in the gym here, stripper ass. So it's when you actually go the full range of motion, but when you push off your heels and try to lift the weight, your butt comes up first and the weight stays behind, so you have to use your back to actually pull the weight up so you can get to the full extension. So we deemed it stripper ass because what happens with strippers, they wave their ass in your face and you put a little dollar in their G-string, you know? So what happens is, when you fully extend your knees and the weight stays, is the center of mass in a squat, when you have the weight on your shoulders, the force of that weight is supposed to go straight through your body, through your knees, and the center of mass is supposed to be even all the way through. So when you lean your torso forward, the center of mass changes, which is going to make you place all the weight on the front of your feet, which the weight's supposed to be on your heels, and it's going to also put a lot of compressive forces on your vertebrae. So vertebrae, they're stabilized by a whole bunch of ligaments on each side, and when those are pulled tight, they're going to have a lot of force at one point, and that's when you get a bulging disc, which is the jelly portion of inside the vertebrae. If you think of a jelly-filled donut and you squish it and a little liquid comes out, that's exactly what's happening in your vertebrae, and that's increased. The chances of that happening is increased when you do this stripper ass type squat. The third and final movement, which is this is the biggest thing that really pissed me off in the gym, and it's the worst thing I've ever seen in the gym. It's terrible. Anyway, a friend of mine who always asked me for advice was on the Smith machine squat, and he was going in between. You're not supposed to fully extend your knees to a locked position during your squat because it's bad on your joints, but he was going from just below full extension to quarter squat and back up, and his reasoning was that he was trying to isolate his quads, and all he wanted to do was focus on his quads. And there is no possible way that you can make a squat an isolation movement. So it's always a compound movement because more than one joint is moved. You have your hip flexion and your knee flexion into knee extension and knee extension and hip extension, as well as your ankle joints moving. So see, like your CSCS textbook, everything you learn here, fuck that shit, because that movement is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, sorry about that. He got this from a professional bodybuilder by the name of Phil Heath. He saw it on a YouTube video, and I love watching Phil Heath's videos. He's really motivational. But, I mean, Phil Heath has had years of training, and he's done years of perfect squats, and he's built up his quads and his hamstrings and his glutes, and he can do that sort of thing because he's just maintaining, and the amount of drugs and performing enhancement drugs he does. So he doesn't have to do, if you're on steroids, you can do pretty much anything you want, and you're going to increase it. Don't get me wrong, you still have to work really hard to achieve those results. But if you're doing it naturally, you're going to want to do things correctly to maximize the amount of hypertrophy you're getting, because if you want to be a bodybuilder, obviously you want increased muscle mass, which is hypertrophy. So you might be saying to yourself, Jockey Nerd, how do you do a squat? Well, the first thing you want to keep in mind is that when you place the bar on your shoulders, you have a high bar squat, which is going to be somewhere around here, and a low bar squat, which is going to be around below your posterior deltoid. So you're going to want your chest out and contract those scapulas together. Contract your back muscles to pull your scapulas together so that you can keep a neutral spine. And keeping a neutral spine, which is a flat back, the entire time is the most important part, because you do not want, your spine holds your central nervous system, and you do not want to hurt anything around there. So you're going to have a neutral spine, your chest is out. You can use the Valsalva maneuver, which is you hold your breath on the way down and you contract your abdominals, and it's going to hold a ball of air and a ball of liquid in your abdomen, and it's going to help increase the stability of your spine. The first movement when you start to go down is you unlock your hips and you push your butt back. So as you're lowering the bar, you want that flat back, and your torso is going to be parallel to your shins. So you might need a buddy to watch your squat for you. You're going to want to think about always keeping the weight on your heels, but you want your feet to have 3 points of contact. So you want your heels, and then if you think of your feet as a pyramid, your big toe, little toe, and your heel, you want all 3 points of contact, but you want to keep all your weight on your heels. You're going to lower yourself all the way down to 90 degrees, and you don't want your knees to go past your toes. They can be in line with your toes or or before your toes, but you don't want them to go past your toes because then you have an increased chance of putting your weight on. Well, it probably means that you have your weight on the front of your feet. So what you're going to do is when you hit 90 degrees, you're going to push up off your heels. You want to make sure that your knees are flared out and they're not coming in, because that means that you have some muscle weaknesses in your adductor muscles. And what you want to do is you push off your heels all the way to full extension of your thoracic region and your quads. You finish off the squat by at the end of your set, you fully lock out your knees and your hips and slowly walk to and re-rack the bar. So if you really can't get squats down and you want to do movements to help you improve your squats, what I do with my clients a lot of the times is, if you don't have the leg strength because you have to think about the muscles that are working during the squat. You have your gluteus maximus, your quads, which is your vastus medialis, intermedius, and lateralis, and your rectus femoris. You have your hamstrings, which is your semitendinosus and semimembranosus, and biceps femoris. So you want to do movements that are going to work them. And compound movements. So you're going to want to do lunges are great. Leg press if they really don't have the strength to squat the 45-pound bar. Goblet squats, which is you hold a dumbbell in front of you and do squats like that. Or you can, even since you have to think of every movement in the gym as a skilled movement, so you have to build a map in your brain of that movement so that it can fire the right muscle fibers. So do bodyweight squats. Bodyweight squats are going to be great. Just perfect form bodyweight squats. A lot of the times I like to have my clients do box squats as well, which is you sit on a box, you lose tension, and then you stand back up. But the problem I have with these is they're great for learning the movement, but my clients usually become reliant on that box. So when we try to do it without the stimulus at the bottom, they tend to just give up and fall over because they didn't build that neuromuscular pathway to push back up. This has been a rant about squats from Jockey Nerd. If you like my videos, please comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Finals are coming up, so right after finals there's going to be a ton more videos. If you have any suggestions of what you want to learn about, just throw them in the comment box and I'm sure to make a video of it. Thank you. Have a nice day.